remember when I started being in the wellness industry and having this moniker attached to me, the acro queen. And I was like, what? I'm not a queen. But it was because I was one of the few women leading acro yoga, not just locally, but around the world. And people naturally saw me as a leader in the industry. They saw me putting together events, workshops. They saw me um, teaching at festivals. They saw me being an outlier because I also taught a very specific practice. And now, 7 years into my business coaching, and it didn't just happen within 7 years, but actually I think like probably into year 4 of my coaching is when leads, right? Potential clients started just popping into my DMs, asking me questions, writing me emails, because I had created so much content, so much value that now I was recognized as the industry leader for business in the wellness industry. And for those of you who don't know me, hello, my name's Ariane, and I'm a business coach for holistic and wellness professionals, yoga teachers, coaches, naturopathic doctors, holistic NPs, you name it. So, why does this matter? Nowadays, we want to differentiate ourselves from the masses in different ways. One way is going to be through great branding, great brand positioning, but another way is also going to be leadership, expert status, authority. And how does that happen? How do you become an authority? Because I know that like imposter syndrome always creeps in and starts telling me like, oh, Ari, you don't know enough yet, or Ari, you haven't made $1 million in your business yet, so why should people listen to you, right? All these useless at the end of the day, useless bits of itty bitty shitty committee conversation start popping into my mind and deter me. But at the end of the day, what positions you as an expert? It's you. It's you showing off. And to me, that's like the easiest thing to do. And you're like, what? Showing off, Ari? I get to show off what's in my head. Because if you've been doing what you've been doing for years, like I've been a yoga teacher for 20 years, I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years, or maybe longer actually, I get to show off all the things that I've learned. I say I have a PhD from the School of Hard Knocks and a really lovely degree from university. But what actually has taught me to move faster, to make better decisions, to start new brands like the Yoga Expo and Move Clothing is that I have shared my information. People see me as a solution to their problem. Oh, funnels? I don't know anything about funnels. Well, I talk a lot about funnels. Oh, high ticket program, retreats. I talk a lot about those things. So the more you talk about things, and here's the crazy thing, you can repeat yourself probably 10 times, and each one's going to be similar, but different enough that they're going to land in the ear of somebody in a different way. So, for example, if I were to talk about retreats and how leading retreats is so powerful and how it can change your life, well, if I choose to speak about it from a profit point of view and how to maximize your profit versus speaking in it from experience, maybe whoever's listening to that content, to that information, is in a different stage in their lives and their careers. So this is why it's so important when we get to really like sink in, understand who our clients are and how to speak to them. That's why we talk about magnetic messaging, powerful messaging, because you never know the stage that people are at, the problem that they need solved. So here's a cool exercise that you can do. And I give this in my coaching clients. Get a piece of paper, okay, and write down 30 problems you can solve. 30. And I want you to do it in two different ways. Way number one is going to be problems that are internal, like feelings, right? Things that are not tangible. And then problems that are tangible. And you're going to think of it in these three different layers. Layer one is the problem I know I have and I'm willing to talk about, I'm willing to share. Like this is me sitting with a girlfriend and saying like, oh my gosh, I got my moon. I'm so bloated. I get the worst cramps. I'm so tired. I snapped at my husband and my kid the other day. This is awful. It always happens to me. Problem I know that I'm not willing to share, right? Oh my God, I got my mood. I've been second guessing my whole entire life. The last few days, I've been just crying nonstop. Not only was I kind of mean to my kid, but like I snapped at her in a way that like, made her cry, whatever. It's stuff that you write in your journal, not that you're going to share with your bestie or like even just like a friend drinking a glass of wine. And then the third one is the problem I don't know I have that I'm not willing to share. And you're asking me, well, how do you share a problem that you don't know you have? So this is the real deep internal stuff, right? This is the stuff that is root cause scenario. For those of us, again, in the wellness world, we understand root cause. So think of it this way. If I'm dealing with really painful periods that are like throwing my moods off all over the place, it could be a massive hormonal balance, right? Like imbalance, pardon. So I could be dealing with underlying factors that are actually going to be health issues in the future. What else? Think about if my crazy moods are maybe pushing my family away, how that can affect, maybe not right now, but in the next few years. This is stuff that really gets people to being like, whoa, maybe I need Ari's solution, which is, I don't know, a hormonal tea for women who are PMSing. And the reason I'm using this example is that I just had an amazing conversation with a woman who does exactly this. So we talked about these things and she was like, oh, I never thought of it that way, right? So not only did she not think about it that way, but she was afraid to step into this niche of talking about fertility and hormones from a, Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine perspective. Like she had a fear around her because as a naturopathic doctor, for the most part, she works with clients with all sorts of stuff. And she said, but wouldn't I push away other clients? And I go, well, maybe, but they're already your clients, so that's fine. But your vision, right? Your business vision is to be able to go and travel more and not have to depend on trading time for money. She was like, yes. I go, so wouldn't it be in your favor to create very specific products that solve very specific things for actually, if you think about it, how many women are dealing with crazy PMS, bloating, painful periods, lack of minerals, like their digestion system gets out of whack, after their menstruation. There's millions upon millions of women. So for a solopreneur who is hand batching teas, this isn't pretty much like you're going to tap into what, maybe 1% of this population? Like we ran some numbers and it was like, whoa, if I just like sold teas to 1% of women who are experiencing, and we even took it like one step further, right? Premenopausal women who are experiencing these things, there's millions. So she was like, oh, I couldn't even fulfill that many orders. I go, there you go. So if she were to allow herself to step into authority and really own that space of like pre and menopausal women experiencing these things with their cycles, she could have a $1 million business stepping into that niche. And this is why I love to talk about like showing up as this authority. Like, what space do you want to own? What space do you want to claim in your business? What space do you want to, stake your knowledge in? Because then you'll be known for that. And if you can see I'm going to draw this out real quick. Okay. Not the prettiest drawing, but it's going to get the point across. Here we go. Concentric circles, aka a target. So if we look at, this is her ideal client, right? That maybe premenopausal 44-year-old woman, just saying, who likes natural solutions like me, right? Like if she hits this target with her marketing messaging, with her branding, with her positioning, right? One, she could have that potential multiple six-figure business. Because not only can she sell physical product, but she can sell digital products that would support this. But do you think maybe if she then creates a name for herself as working with women, period, who are experiencing these specific problems with their hormones, with their menstruations, et cetera, like a woman who's maybe 27 could also be her ideal client, right? They would be drawn to this messaging of expertise. And that's what I want us to understand, that the more we claim this, space, the more that we claim our passion and our knowledge for what we do, it becomes easier and easier to get clients and for them to build a sense of trust, because I buy because I trust and admire people, especially with like information, right? Like I have these 3 or 4 people that I'm constantly watching their YouTube videos. Like if they send a newsletter, I open it. And if I look back at, for example, my friend Elise, and she's taught me a ton about Instagram, I've bought like 5 or 6 of her programs over the last 7 years because I see her as an authority on Instagram. And then think of yourself, like what are your buying behaviors? Are you looking for a mentor? Well, maybe let's give an example. Let's say you love Sanskrit and you love the tradition, of the yogic language and the mantras that are in Sanskrit. So when you're looking for a teacher, you're going to look for somebody that maybe has a published book about mantras and Sanskrit, who maybe has a channel, who is maybe doing a lot of webinars about mantras and chanting and Sanskrit and yoga tradition, right? Maybe you're looking for an authentic source. Maybe it's a Indian guru. I don't know. But wouldn't you go to somebody that's like, well, this is what I do all day, is that I focus on this specific thing and I am the go-to source. Ask me what, this means. I can't think of Sanskrit right now, but like asato sadgamaya. And they're going to be like, well, let me tell you the history about asato sadgamaya. Let me tell you about, the origin of this chant, the gods that it's attached to. I want that person if I want to study more Sanskrit and be well-versed. So this is what I want you to start thinking about when you are in this place where you're building a brand, where you're building a name for yourself, where you're building an audience that wants to learn from you, that does sees you as that, wow, like I know it's crazy. Like, I fight with ego on this all the time, but like there's people that really look up to me and they say, oh my God, like you're so inspiring. You know so much about like business and digital marketing. And wow, like you built a funnel in 2 seconds. How'd you do that? You're so well versed on tech. I want to learn from you. And it's like, well, yes, I've actually put so much time into being skilled, into learning about funnels, into learning about, automations, how to maximize cart value, like All this stuff I love. So I keep learning, I keep reading, I keep going to seminars, I keep, getting deeper into software, because the more I know, the more I can support my clients, the more courses I can make, the more 5-day challenges I can lead. So this is really a blessing, an opportunity to ask yourself, am I willing to be that person? Am I willing to do the work that it takes to put myself out there in that way? And if you're like, oh, I don't like to make videos, Ari, can we do it a different way? Can you do audio? Can you write a book? Right? There's so many different ways that are going to suit your personality. And just know that if you're not willing to do the work for that, right? To make these decisions and to, like I said, position yourself in this way, to show up in this way, if you're getting stuck in your head about it, but you have bigger dreams, is it going to happen? Just because you think it doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's you have to do it. And when you do it, that's why my motto is like, be, create, inspire. Like, let's be in our highest state, so that we're creating consistently, right? We're creating marketing, we're creating content, we're writing a book, we're publishing a blog, we're creating a new program, we're diversifying our offerings, so that our clients are inspired, our audience is inspired. The person who just learned about follicular phase in menstruation and what you should do about it feels better, and now they're gonna be nicer because they're feeling better. I have this huge belief that a lot of people currently are sick and tired, literally, like they're sick, and because of that they're exhausted, and so like people aren't being as nice anymore. They're not being as helpful because they're living from an empty cup. So imagine those women who are now feeling better because of your product, your service, or the men who are being better dads because you coach them and you created content, a piece of video. Like, I know I watched this one piece of video the other day about reading to my daughter, and how that impacts, right, her ways of learning, and like all the schools. I watched one Instagram video and I got so inspired, and now we've set up a routine. One Instagram video. So what would it take for you to sit there and create that one Instagram video that might help that one person? Because now you're in service, you're of service, and you're working for purpose and on purpose. You see the difference? So what would that do for you, for your business, for your life? How would you show up? These are the types of questions I want you to start asking yourself, and I want you to start taking action on. And of course, right, I'm here as a source. I'm here as a hopefully a bit of inspiration for you to do the thing that you've been dreaming about, and that you've just been putting many self-imposed limits on. If you asked me 15 years ago, hey, Ari, did you see yourself where you were at? No, I did not. 15 years ago, let me see, close my eyes. Yeah, that was way long ago. I was 29. What was I doing at 29? I was kind of being a hippie. I was working in an advertising agency part-time, and I was traveling a lot, teaching yoga, sleeping on a lot of couches. I was making good money. And, I was riding my bike around South Beach. I never thought that I would have a clothing line, that I would co-own the largest yoga trade show in the United States, that I would have a multiple six-figure coaching and course business. I never thought that I would be generating passive income from, owning properties and owning stock and investments. I had no clue. But I had that oh shit moment. And it happened because I went to one talk from one of my mentors who asked some really great questions and positioned the responsibility on me to actually ask myself those questions and say, like, what do I really want? what do I really, really want in my life? And that's what spiraled everything. I was able to own my authority, and I was able to stand up taller and feel a bit lonely because I left a lot of that past behind, right? That the hippie path, as I call it. I'm still a hippie, but I like to call myself a rich hippie. So if I look at it, right, like if I hadn't done that, if I hadn't asked myself those questions, if I hadn't started taking imperfect action, launched my course, learned about the funnels, started implementing, right, consistent social media, learning from different experts, investing in masterminds, I would still be riding my bike around South Beach. I had a great life, but I was I was kind of like tapped out, right? I couldn't teach any more yoga classes. I didn't have more time to work at more agencies. So it was that thing that sparked my vision, right? That helped clarify that vision so that I could build everything that I've been building. And I don't do it alone, but I'm so blessed that I was able to say, okay, you know, who's here to be on my team so that we can keep growing together. And that's the goal, right? That's the goal of how we set ourselves up as we get older, as now, I have a family now to really look at. But if our goal is to generate a business that is impactful, that is in service, that, not only helps our clients, but helps us at the same time, then we're winning. We're winning because we're allowing ourselves to be seen as leaders, to be seen as authority figures, to be respected in our industries, to be called upon for podcast interviews, to show up on stages and speak. Which, by the way, if you haven't checked out the Yoga Expo, this is a great opportunity. If you're a wellness expert, like we love you guys, go get on stages. This is the way to go. Right? Like do the scary thing, put in the application. Like you never know what could happen. So it's just a message that I know if you're in that space, probably spoke to you. And, I would love to be that next step for you. So please let me know how I can support you. You can join my communities. I have a free Facebook community. I also have a membership where I coach people. So reach out to me. And I would love to answer some questions, ask you some questions, and see what happens. And until then, be, create, inspire. Love you. See you soon. Ciao.